last game. They have never lost a tournament, but are they going to be in first place? They're down early.
This might be a first. This might be the first we've ever seen, and now it's so realistic. The chances are starting to slip away for them. But you know what? We are setting ourselves up for a big finals now, with first place out here, with a 20-point gap, with some of the most consistent placements and just gameplay we've seen come out of that first place team of Commandment, Sensitive, and Edgy. They are now opening up the checkbook for everyone else. And the question is, how much are they willing to give away here? And again, it's still up to the other pros. It's still up to these other trios to make this last game count, to make this game 11 mean everything for them, because if they don't get points here, they lose their opportunity, and it will be gone forever.
I've put my name and reputation online. I've gone toe-to-toe with Vivid here. I've called it out. I have put everything on Censored, Edgy, Commandment. I'm devastated to see them go down, but as a viewer, as a spectator, someone who loves the storylines, this is so intense. We now have a chance to see them dethroned from their first place going into the final game.
Hey, do you want any
you don't know why me and Monster are so hyped. This is the second last game of NA East FNCS Finals this weekend. Our first place team is down. They got 0 placement points. There is 30.
Oh.
Who is it, Mike? Just tell me.
What?
Who am I gonna gift, you or him?
Me or Jason?
I think I should gift you since you told me first.
Why don't you gift him? Do you not have enough?
Yeah.
Alright, but then promise me that you owe him. Cause I want him to get something too.
Today? I can't get today.
Not today. Yeah, not today, but.
Yeah, I swear to God, I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, I put on my mom. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Alright, go back to lobby. I left.
Really, man? I joined.
Dude, I'm gonna change my skin. I'm gonna wear a nice skin for the FNCS. But the actual tournament starts in 2 hours. But the East is right now.
Look, where you want to say something? My friend gifted to me. You know the one that remember the one I told you that has 3 champs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gifted to me.
Oh wow. I thought you already had that.
Slip it now.
Would you have knee slapper?
I have knee slapper, yeah. I gifted it to Jason.
You did?
Yeah, but my bad.
That's alright. Thank you, bro.
Oh, my bad, man. I gifted it to him.
Yeah, how do you accidentally gift it to Jason? Like,
I know, like, what? How was that a coincidence? Oh my, how'd you get it?
No, I bought it.
What a, okay, I see you. See you buying your own stuff now.
Oh. Dude, okay, so if everyone's account on my friends list got banned, I'd have no skins. Well, I'd have some, but not a lot. Cause if someone gets banned and they gifted you stuff, it gets refunded.
And they get the V-Bucks back.
Yeah. If they get their account back.
So how much skins are you gonna have in that account?
I'd probably have like at least 30.
30 more?
No, I'd have like 25. 25 out of 50.
Holy
No,
shit, you guys
actually,
gifted.
Maybe 40 out of 50.
What the? Also, only 10 things.
Yeah. Alex, come here. Where's the thing playing? Oh, it's over here. See where everyone's at? Like all the little arrows. Oh, I got a grappler.
No!
Right here.
Maybe one for me. Maybe one for me.
I'm gonna grab multiple. Alright, let's go.
I said multiple and I got 3.
Clicks is in it right now, I think. I don't think he died yet.
Come on. Was good, though. And now, 3 teams remain here.
Acorn goes down. Is Slacks and Jack still in this right now? No, they are not. We have Dom and Dusky on the high ground. We have Kanata on the low ground. This team right now, Bucky, Kanata, Macwood, are in 5th place. They're squaring off with 20th place right now, so we know who this means more for. Dom has the heal off. Unless he's messed up this med kit, you have to imagine that he is going to win this game. It doesn't even come down to the splashes. Dusky goes down and takes measures into his own hands, takes out Kanata. But Monster, I didn't see Daymir in reverse in that one. I only saw Slacks, Jack, and Acorn, and we had eyes on Clicks. Were they able to jump up with Censored, Edgy, and Commandment in first place, going down before any placement?
That's just it. Exactly. Reverse 2K, Mira and Day were not there. Slacks, Acorn, and Jack will rise up. Clicks will definitely rise up a 7th place finish. But Macwood, Bucky, and Kanata, them 2, we know what top 3s can bring to the table here. They just did that.
Hey, let's
That's 25 points right now. I don't know how many eliminations they had.
All right,
it could
3,
be enough to
2,
skyrocket them
1,
up.
go.
Yeah, for sure. But all right,
That
we're
is
setting
so
up the
good.
stage here. We got this last game in front of us coming here shortly. Before we get there, though, boys at the desk, tell me what you got, guys. This is crazy.
Absolutely. It is insane here coming into this final game of NA East. I gotta give props to Dusky's trio for finding the victory out. I'm so happy to see them. They had the heals, they had it all lined up, they had the insurance on the high ground. But
Dynamite.
Getting ready to head into this last
2,
game. Okay, we'll take a look at the standings in just a second. Okay, first, you guys have set this up for us. You guys have a few things that you want to talk about before we jump into this last game. So I'm going to kick it over to you. Walk us through it.
Okay, we're going into the final game of NA East. Right now, the top 3 still have all to play for when it comes to that first place slot before we check the leaderboards. However, honestly, I think after watching that last game, it's no longer 3 people at the top. But before this game started, in 3rd place we had Acorn, Slacks, and Jack. And these guys were absolutely popping off, right? They've been so consistent all game. The last 2 games they played, not including the last one, was 2 third places. So they're consistently getting into that top 3 where the big placement is. And really, you know, their average elimination is 5.9, so performing very, very well as a team overall. And like, this is what we know. These guys were huge in their heat, having a 279 points total, which was incredible, right? The most on any heat on any region. And we thought, are they going to be able to continue that? So far, their performance definitely has shown that they have the potential to take that first place slot.
Yeah, and then we have another clip here from Miro, Day, and Reverse. Again, look how these guys are in sync. They are just immediately going for the same exact opponent at the same exact time. Just timing their shots really, really well together. Look, again here, you know, they're together. They're backing each other up. They're just always cohesive in how they play this game. And that's why they're in contention right now to take away this FNCS championship.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen them over and over. Today, they've not been showing up as much, though, so I'm thinking the leaderboards will definitely have changed around a little bit. We'll have to wait and to see how they come up, but you know what? Like, last game, they can definitely pull it off. We've seen they've been able to get, and they might be able to have that 2-time FNCS championship, in particular, in a row. You know, right now, we've seen Scented, Edgy, Command. We have talked about these guys a lot today, and for good reason. They have been explosive, in particular, using that Dragon's Breath shotgun from Scented. You know, the amount of top 3s they've got have been absolutely incredible, but you know, their eliminations and their ability to find these spaces in the zone is amazing. In game 10, we remember seeing them having that incredible clutch where they had almost nothing remaining, but in that last game there, they actually ended up going down and getting 0 points, I think. Let me check. Yes, 0 points indeed over that team, so this is an opportunity for another team to catch up to them and take over that first place slot.
Yeah, Reese, I was mentioning they needed to have a bad game for this leaderboard to be competitive. And with that bad game, this leaderboard is going to be very, very interesting to look at because we know that we saw Slacks, Acorn, and Jep up in there. We know we saw Bucky, Kanata, and Macwood. I really can't wait to see the leaderboard.
Well, Vivid, we're about to see, and guess what? These standings are different now. They finally drop out of that first place spot. But now, as you just talked about, Slacks, Acorn, and Jock, they've jumped up there, okay? They're now holding it down. It's only a 5-point difference, but still, you look at third, Day, Miro, Reverse. They are currently holding the axe of champions. They're the champions coming out of last FNCS. And with a late game surge, they can still pull it off, Reese.
Wow. I mean, they can still pull it off, absolutely. You know, this lead between Slacks and Commandment, definitely still close, but Slacks has been, and their team have been so consistent so far. The last 3 games, third, and fourth. So, you know, in order for Day, Mirror, and Reverse, they're probably, to get that first place slot, you know, they're probably going to need a top 3. And at the same time, they're going to need one of the most consistent teams, actually the most consistent team in their placement, to have a bad game. You know, their average placement is 7.09 so far, which is absolutely nuts. So, in order for Daymir and Reverse to get into that first place slot, they have to pick up pretty much a victory royale, and at the same time, make sure the 2 most consistent teams in the lobby don't perform. This is going to be a good game.
And I would say that it is pretty much solidified right now that anybody in that top 5 will be one of our FNCS champions. I think anybody out of the top 5 right now most likely will not be able to take this home. So we're going to be looking at a battle between Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, Commandment, Sen, and Edgy. They are the closest at the top. But if they both have bad games, then these 3rd, 4th, and 5th place trios, which are Reverse's trio, Bucky's trio, and Clix's trio, if they have a pop-off game, when those 2 trios have a bad game, then they are for sure in the running for taking home the championship.
Yeah, and just to be clear, while you're watching this next game, keep an eye on the elimination feed at the top left. Right now, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, 5 points. Only 5 points ahead of Commandment, Scented, and Edgy. That's 3 eliminations right now to take them over and above. So if Commandment, Scented, and Edgy get 3 eliminations, say they get a wipe off spawn, they're actually going to be ahead of Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, and it's going to be everything to play for it in your top 2. Then add everything we just talked about Day, Miro, and Reverse coming back for the back-to-back championships on top of that. We have an exciting final game right here.
It is time. We're jumping out of the battle bus one last time in NAE, so casters, take it away.
Very much for hitting the nail on
the head. We just slick, boys.
Yeah. And this is it, the final game of the FNCS finals here today for the NA East region is about to be underway. And what an explosive day it has been. We now have our top 5 teams who are in the race for the championship title here today. This Axe of Champions is right in front of all their grasp. Can they grab it though, Ozzy?
Can they grab it right now? This first zone sees that our 1st and 2nd place teams, 2nd place being Commandment, Scented, Edgy at Misty Meadows, and our 1st place team, Slacks, Jack, and Acorn, Slurpy Swarms inside the first zone. So this is favorable to both of them. Neither one getting an advantage right now. Reset it up perfectly, Monster. You did too. There is 3 eliminations difference right now. That is it between 1st and 2nd. So every slight advantage is going to matter. They said keep your eyes on the feed. Don't worry. Me and Monster are very much going to be doing that because this is about to be one of the most exciting games of Fortnite you have ever watched. Everything comes down to this. Right now, we have Commandment, Scented, Edgy, who came 2nd last FNCS finals in 2nd. They don't want to do that again. They want the victory royale. And we have Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, who have never been close to this one. They came 5th last finals. They've done everything leading up to this. They need the win to put it on their resume.
Yeah, let's just not forget, of course, what is on the line outside of that. Kanata's gonna find one there. Hold up, though. Mars gets not. That's a contested drop. Is that Mars is going back to the old trusty craggy cliffs? That's what he does when everything's on the line. He goes back to what he knows best, and that's his drop spot. Kanata's gonna go ahead and finish that one up there, too. Already interesting things unfolding here in the last game.
4 months ago.
I mean, when there was only 3 points of difference between Bucky's team in 4th and Clix's team in 5th, each elimination is massive, and we're setting the stage for who's going to walk out with that Axe of Champions in 1st place. But you and me, Monster, we've been talking about how huge it is to place top 3 as a team, to get guaranteed invitation to the next FNCS finals right now. Daymir and Reverse are up there. They're in 3rd right now. They're a few points down from 2nd, but everyone is close behind them. Bucky, Kanata, Macwood, only 9 points behind them in 4th, and then Clix, Booger, Bizzle right now on 241, only 12 points behind them, and they're coming off the back of 2 victory royales in 3 of their last games. So everyone is playing for this one right now.
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget, Clix was also down Bizzle in the last round there. It was just Booga and Clix working their way through that last game, just trying to figure it out, trying to stay alive, and they did just that. just phenomenal movement
looks
from
like
all the trios involved. I still can't believe, though, I still cannot believe Scented, Commandment, and Edgy
stand right in front of it and focus.
Gave up that first place spot by falling early, and we see what happens when you do. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are. With the exceptional amount of gameplay coming out of every other trio here, there's no room for error. The one mistake, though, has now made this such a close tournament that in this last game, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I don't even know at this point as well. Like I said, I picked Commandment Center Edgy as my trio to win it this weekend. I put all my faith in them, my pride on the line, and that was one of their poorer games. That's one of 3 games of the 11 we've seen this weekend where they've gone down before placement. That's it. 8 of their other games, they've stayed up, and when they do stay up, they make that top 3 so consistently. So all they've got to do is that, and we saw that stat fly in last game, right, Monster? When Center and Edgy have gone into the final game of the tournament in the lead, they have never lost before. But they lost their lead at the very last second. Second last game. So right now, we'll see it. We have storylines developing. They're heading out of Misty, fully stacked, like there used to be. Slackjack, Acorn got uncontested Slurpee. They are still looking fantastic. And I got to imagine, Monster, do you think there's any chance Slackjack and Acorn go for the big game? Do they look over at Hydra there to try and get that RPG? Or they just play the Fortnite that's got them to this point?
I don't know. We've already saw them lose to Zayt's stretch before. It would just be such a risk. Challenge again. That is the only thing I can think of. If they were to take that risk, really, you have to weigh your options. Is it that much worth it when you see how good they're playing without it? I'd say no. Absolutely not.
The soccer skin.
I think that's fair to say as well. Everyone's played phenomenal Fortnite. We talked about how this format really has led not just the best of the best players here today, this weekend, in the 12-game format, but how the format rewarding top 3 so heavily with eliminations worth 2. If you can really tee it together with the eliminations across 12 games, you walk away with crowning the champions as the most consistent and unarguably the best players on NA East. And that's what we're going to do here today, as 2 of them are set right now in the lead to take it. But as Vivid talked about in the pre-show, we have seen these teams go down early before outside of placement. But I want to point something out right now. This final game, Slacks, Jack, and Acorn have only had 1 game of the last 11 where they have gone down without placements. Only 1 where Commandment Center and Edgy have had 3. So right now, consistency actually does favor Slacks, Jack, and Acorn. It would have to be 1 of 2 of the games that they throw to go down before 17 teams.
Yeah, and let's just bring in, might as well rope in Day, Miro in reverse to this as well, because they, in the last 2, or the last 3, they've fallen twice outside of the big placement there too, with no eliminations, and that's why they're hard stuck at 253. So you have to think, as we're focusing on this team, they've given away those 2, you know, it shouldn't happen anymore. It really shouldn't happen anymore.
I'm bothering these kids.
Last 12 games that we saw of Trio FNCS Finals, that team was the most consistent on the day. They won by a solid 20+ points over Centered Edgy Commandment. They've had the consistency in the past. They were set up to be not only the first players in NA East to have 2 times FNCS titles under their belt, they were going to do it back to back. And that's what that team has been triumphing back to back. But unfortunately for them, it's looking like Centered Edgy but here they are. They're setting up. If they can get an early if they can play aggressive, and look at this, they aren't playing scared. They're not trying to hold on to third right now, Monster. This is the movement of a team that is trying to take first with a 105 snipe to open this up. And if they push this fight, this is everything you need to know. This team is definitely not playing for third.
Yeah, they have to be careful though, because Creo, Illis, and Avery is up at Caddy's corner right behind them, listening to all this chaos go down as the team that rotated out was Nut, Twexy, and Zypha. Day jumps in. Day looks for the tag. He's going to find it. It's Nut. Nut gets knocked right there. And now, yes, they do manage to finish that off. It's perfect for the surge. It's perfect for the points they need to catch up, because they were 30 points behind. They have a substantial gap to close here. It's a victory Yao's worth. So they have to outperform, outpace everyone else. And remember, their top 3 at the very least is still riding on their performance right now.
Yeah, they can't go down early here. They need to secure at least that top 3 because we know how prestigious that is. The guaranteed invite to the next finals for teams who already won the previous. They're playing so consistent, and it's so fantastic. I talked about it earlier, Monster. Our top 3 teams are all teams that played together for the last FNCS finals, and all of them placed top 5. Slackjack and Acorn came in 5th place in the last finals, and now they're set to do it in 3rd. Teams prove I know, but consistency, chemistry, finding teammates that you can improve and play together with is what ultimately leads to success. We're going to potentially see a podium.
Oh, let's get crash pads here. I'm going to crash pads to rotate to the grappler.
No.
Want me to bring you a grappler?
Dale, vamos a ir. ¿Qué vamos a hacer?
Alex.
Ay, okay.
Do you have to get off?
Yeah, right.
Oh. I brought you grappler.
79 players. We're teeing up for what I imagine will be probably just less than what you need for active Storm Surge. We need 70 players alive by the time the next zone closes. But at the same time,
I'm gonna get ready
in this one. They're still showing up big. It's for practice, it's for pride, and Reverse gets another elimination onto Crunchy here. So they are closing that gap. We're kind of telling this story as a 2-horse race at the top right now. But 3rd place, Daymir and Reverse, your FNCS champs. They're closing the gap with every elimination being worth 2 here, as Slackjack and Acorn are getting tagged up a little bit on this rotate as they're pushing onto Chimp, Tabney, and potentially Teo. There he is, trailing from behind.
They have to be careful. Chimp, Tabney, and Teo have been on fire the last couple rounds, making it into endgame after endgame, fighting with the best of the best. So for Acorn, Slacks, and Jack right now, they may just find a team that's hot on the streak right here in top 10. It's an 8th place team. It may not be a team that's in the race for top 3 or 1st place, but it's a squad that still has thousands on the line here, and their reputation as well as one of the dark horse teams to really perform well this weekend, and they're doing it.
Yeah, 8th place team. This isn't an easy team to walk through right now. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn, we talked about how they've built up kind of like a legend of going for these mid-game fights, taking down full trios. We've seen that in the past, but we haven't seen it that much this weekend, Monster. That title really has gone over to teams like Daymir and Reverse, where we talked about how coming into today, Miro alone had more eliminations than 30 teams in this field as Acorn sets up, gets the big shots. This is huge right now. When there was only a few eliminations separating first from second, if they get a full trio wipe here, or if they get taken out themselves, this is going to shift up the leaderboard so fast. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn are not playing scared. You would not think this was a team in 1st place right now, because they are playing to push their lead forward, not just hold on to it.
Oh, and they do manage to get the knot, pick them up, and get the shakedown here. That'll be all the information that they can extract out of Teo right there. And it seems like Tabney and Chimp back off, and they leave him there to be finished off and taken out. Big performance, big win right there for Slacks, Acorn, and Jack. And you know what? It's still worth a lot. Like I said, to that 8th place team, there's thousands of dollars on the line now. If you slip out of the top 10, if you rank your way up to the top 5, the incremental pricing increase is crazy. You really want to stay in the running right now if you've made it this far.
Centered Edgy Commandment. Look at the loadout, Monster, on Centered alone right now. This is what has made this player and made this team's reputation. They are the low ground kings for a reason. Coming out of Misty Meadows, that drop spot fits their playstyle perfectly because they get that almost guaranteed Dragon Shotgun. I've talked about it. Condor, the NPC at Misty Meadows, one of my favorite characters in the game because I also love that shotgun. Centered puts it to such good use on the low ground. I've talked about this before and people have always asked, how does Centered Edgy Commandment play low ground so well with the fire spreading from the Dragon Shotgun? Centered's aim is so good that if you didn't know, you hit every single pellet on that Dragon Shotgun, the fire doesn't spread because it's absorbed by the player. And that's how deadly accurate Centered is with his shots, that's why you don't see this team running around in the fire builds on low ground. That is why they are so insanely dominant, and they have that win condition right now on Centered.
It's the subtle things. It's the little things. And that's what separates, the normal player from an exceptional one. These guys are well above the average. They're a cut above the rest. Several, if you will. But hold up. Take a look at Commandment, who's holding up this big tower here. Where is his teammates? Where is the rest of the gang? Are they inside the stealthy stronghold? Yes, they are. So they have a wide spread going on here. They have to be careful. Reverse 2K, Miro, and Day are moving up the mountain. If they sniff out, it's only one player up there. I mean, they're known to jump on those kind of weaknesses and take advantage.
They've got to be really, really careful. That's a big spread. And what an endgame right now. Hunter's Haven, it doesn't kind of get that same fear as what a Misty Meadows Mountain endgame does. But look at all the valleys. Look at all the hills. You've got that giant waterfall. You've got everything in this endgame. Pretty much no matter which way this pulls, it's going to be difficult for this team, as you can just, even without the minimap, right, Monster, you'll be able to sense where the terrain is as all of these teams try to huddle up and get the prime position on these mountains to play into this endgame. No one wants to set up down in the valleys. Everyone wants to have their kind of, I don't know, their hair in the breeze up there, as Acorn, Jack, Slacks have a mountain. Clicks, Bizzle, Booger have a mountain. We saw the Commandment Centered Edgy have several mountains right now. Everyone's setting up for this end game.
All the big names are in position. They're where they need to be. Like we said, we saw Reverse 2K, Miro, and Day just on the opposite side behind that other little mountain there, sitting up underneath. Commandment, there they are, inside a building, being able to replenish all of their builds, which gets them nice and comfortable. But that's the widespread. Commandment's way over here, Sensitive and Edgy. Opposite side, they have to be careful. Even crossing back now to try to get back to Commandment is going to be a risky one. The longer they take, the more likely teams are to migrate on in. Luckily for them, this little crevice here, and they do get to get back, but look at the material it's costing them. That's a lot. That's a little setback for them.
And they get the tags out. Now, I noticed Center was actually juggling extra meds into their builds as well. He had spare big pots as well. Now they get the airdrop, so things looking fantastic for this team. 26 teams alive, 70 players. We are not going to get active surge, but we saw this last game. There was no 70 active surge, but it went down to the 50 as all the players that are still in this are focused up and they want to perform. Keep your eyes on that feed. You're looking for any of the top teams to go down. In case you've just tuned in, you don't know what's at stake. This is the last game, the 12th game of the NA East Trio Finals, and you have Slacks, Jack, and Acorn in first, Commandment Centered Edgy second, Daymir Reverse in third, and all of them are jockeying right now, trying to take that first place, as you have Bucky's team in fourth and Clicks is in fifth. So those are all huge names. If any of them go down here, it will mean everything, as if one of these teams goes down before placement, that'll be it, and we'll see players run away with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look at the pressure going on here. Zypha and Twexy go down. I think that Stretch on the other side to pick up the loot, though. They're going to go ahead and snatch all this up right here real quick. You can see they start to mark it out, try to see what they can find. It's not going to be much, but yeah, those elims actually fall into Zayt and Saf's hands, so they don't get it. They still only have one elim, but at least they get some tags for it, so it's not for nothing.
I'm pretty sure we saw Slacks, Jack, and Acorn get that one elim as well, right? So that 5 points should still be holding right now. That is the difference. 5 points. Eliminations are worth 2. That is one trio wipe from having... There it is. That is the difference right now from first and second. And these 6 players are some of the most consistent. And honestly, I want to put it down to the most hardworking players in the community as well. Centered and Jack especially do not get enough credit for how much time they put into this game, how much effort they put into it, and how much it means to them. I know they're playing for first, not for the Champions pickaxe, not for the prize money, but for the pride and the accolades. That's why they do what they do, and I can't wait to see who walks away with it. I have my pick on Centered Edgy Commandment. I'd love to be right for my own pride, but honestly, seeing either of these teams win it will be so exciting, but who is going to be able to do it? They're both heading into endgame. All top 5 teams are still alive, Monster.
Yeah, it's about the dignity, that gratification you get from taking it all. That is what these guys are fighting for. That is literally the difference maker. It's what the best compete for. It's the adrenaline that you get in these big stages here. Acorn, Slacks, and Jack, though, let's evaluate the situation. Loot looking pretty decent. That's solid. Above the surge threshold as well, very comfortably. That's going to last them a zone or two's worth. So I'm liking the position this team is in. I'm loving the load as we're circling through these 3 individual perspectives. There's chug splashes across the board, big pots, minis, and shieldfish alike. This is solid.
Slacks, Jack, and Acorn have a winning loadout. Commandment Centered Edgy also have a winning loadout right now. None of them have an excuse for how this endgame goes, but they are set up in very different situations. If Commandment Centered Edgy managed to get this zone on top of them, it would be massive, as we have Notch, Jamper, Paper, and we have Booger, Clicks, Bizzle in 4th place. Everyone's setting up for this. We have 10 seconds. The final game, Monster. Half zone. Which way is it going to go? Who is going to be blessed and who is going to be challenged? It doesn't mean it's all over just because you don't get the zone zone, but we know how important this is, and it does. It pulls across to Clicks,
Oh
Bizzle, and Booga.
gosh.
They're going up for the high ground. They're going to try and make it 4 Victory Royales out of 12. They're having the absolute Cinderella run here to bring everything back.
They want to fight. They want to fight for it, and they're not here to give it up. Harpoons are going to come out from Clicks. Imagine if he pulled someone off there. That'd be crazy. He's not giving up his opportunity to do it, though. He's still attacking all enemies in the line of sight. Here goes the Storm Surge. It is out. It is active, and that means players are going to have to get fighting. Yes. Yes. Look at the players here as well.
They have to be careful. We saw Clicks' team chop out Zayd's team in a very similar situation, right? And I even saw Bizzle take to Twitter to gloat about it a little bit. You don't want to see Bizzle, Clicks, and Booga fall there if you're a fan, because they've built up high and they've reinforced, but not quite enough for my liking for how high up they are. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn also got this zone right now. Saf is making his way across. Macwood is taking down Aids in the feed. Where is Centered Edgy Commandment? They had a complete opposite half-half. Have they made the rotate, and how are they going to get here? There they are. They're making their way through the builds, but once they come out here, once they hit the open air, it's all going to be down to them to pick the right paths. And what a good rotate from this team. They're splitting up a little bit, though. I hope Commandment Edgy are going to come back up centered. Looks like they're going to try and break their way through. They got to be careful here. There's a team in there. Centered takes some tags. This is your second place team just making it to half-half. First place team is already in. They all have the loadouts. 3 teams to go down before placement. No one is going down early.
Yeah, let's not forget Reverse 2K, Miro, and Dare also out there amongst the Wolves. There is so much threat here in the field. There is so much threat, and they're not just safe just yet. They're going to have to inch their way in just a little bit more. It's Avery on the other side of the wall. The Elders team that was to the left has already moved. They're gone. Here's Acorn, Slacks, and Jack trying to get another position up, trying to get a better angle coming into this new zone. There's so much congestion here because it went up and over the mountain. Now it's going to go down and out through the valley to the open field. This is a nightmare last game zone. This high ground hold from Clicks, Booga, and Bizzle, it's not good enough. This terrain is too volatile. They're going to have to give it up.
This is the zone that will literally wake you up in a cold sweat. This is nightmare fuel. It is going to go across and over the waterfall. You need to stay up. You can't drop down. One misplaced step, one wrong move, one wrong bouncer, one opponent that wants to break you out, and you are going to fall all the way to the very bottom and potentially fall out of your place on the leaderboard. But if you can stay up, if you can make it across, if you can bridge your way against all these players, you will survive and you will potentially win it. Look at that drop right now as Acorn is going down. No, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, very deliberate, phenomenal play from this team. Bouncing the front side, staying in line now. They want to be beneath everyone else's builds. They don't want to be the team on the top, and they don't want to rely on another team. They're building the tarps. They look phenomenal. Can Centered Edgy Commandment get down in such a good position as well, or are they going to fall early?
I like that they're keeping a low profile, staying away from the other opponents. It looks like they got a refresher as well. This is massive, and those are big pickups there. That's more loot for them to work with. That's more for them to go ahead and power their way through. They're one step closer to being your FNCS champions. This is such a race. All of the teams we need to be here are still here, and now that they're finding elims, it's going to allow them to continue to maintain the lead.
Everyone is still in this right now. We saw EU come down to the steamy endgame with the top teams all going head-to-head. You and me, Monster, said it's going to be hard for NA East to top that or even match it, but that is exactly what they're doing. All of our teams are up still here. We have a nightmare zone. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch, the kings of the high ground, are on height. Clicks, Boozer, and Centered so low right now. Commandment and Edgy, they're on the back foot. They're 70 below. This is their last-ditch effort. Bottom right, keep your eyes on that. Everything is on them. Only 37 above. They need to hold on. They are clutching it very little right now, Monster, to try and hold in this one. Centered goes down. It's just up to Edgy and Commandment. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks are still up, and they came into this game with a 5-point lead. Edgy, Commandment, what can you do to hold on to this?
And day finds night. Miro's gonna find the last tag onto Centered there too. So that's a team that's finding tags. Remember, it is a 3-way race right here for first place. Look at it. There's Day's eliminations. Day gets knocked by Zayt on high ground. This is back and forth right now for all the teams that matter. And it's so much pressure on Edgy's back. Edgy brings someone down into the box. Will he be able to find it? It's back and forth, and I think he does. It's onto Aviv. They're going into a box-to-box fight. Right across from them, Jack, Acorn, and Slacks. They can see what's going on, but they're not looking across. They're looking down, and the punishment comes back. This is so close here.
Edgy's still picking up eliminations. We have our low ground kings with no low ground to play. This is essentially a sky base. Edgy goes down. It's all down to Commandment, but he's still getting eliminations in the feed. He has won, but he is now a solo in second place, versing a trio. He's stepping up. He's doing everything he can to hold on to this. Commandment has shown such skill here today. We've seen some of the best players I have ever seen in Fortnite, but Commandment needs that. Nothing short of pure brilliance will keep this team up here to take first place. You have Commandment as a solo going up against Jack, Acorn, and Slacks as an entire trio. He has no builds, trying to jump his way through this. He's dropping down. He's going to his home on the low ground, but in a zone like this, you don't want to be here. He's got nowhere to go. He jumps. That's it. Second place is down. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn in first place. They are still up. This is potentially their victory lap, Monster.
Yes, definitely now. And Acorn is trying to jump down. He gets taken out. It's up to Slacks here and Jack to pop off. Pull in as much as they can to solidify this home run. And let's see if they will be able to take it home on the low ground, though. Kanata, Macwood, and Bucky here still picking up points. The race for top 3 is on for them, and they've made it all the way to top 3 here today. So many eliminations. Who are we going to see make it back? Miro is still in this. That's a second place. Miro has so many eliminations. Wait a second. First place is not guaranteed for anyone. Not just yet.
It is not.
Will the FNCS champions do it? It's so close.
They took it down. Miro dropped down there. Miro actually managed to take out Slacks, Jack, and Acorn. Third took out first there for points. Kanata, Macwood, Bucky are down there. We have Zay's team on the high ground. Kanata goes up right now. He goes off the bouncer. He has that legendary tax shotgun. Kanata takes down Saf right now. These are two of the biggest teams in the business. Kanata's team needs this. They're in fourth place. They're fighting for third. Bucky is trying to secure that invite straight into next FNCS finals. Zay, the king of the high ground. Can he do it? It's going to come down to literally one tick. 10 health. Zay falls. Bucky just manages to win it with 10 health right now. Monster, that was everything you want from a game of Fortnite.
They just went toe-to-toe, gun for gun, shot for shot, blow for blow, and Bucky's team takes it. Kanata, oh my gosh, what a game.
But we also still had second place. Commandment Centered Edgy going into that. Centered went down early. Commandment Edgy held on. Commandment had to make the desperate jump off high ground. He had no builds. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn went down. They secured the placement points though. But was it enough? They went in on only a 5-point difference. Everything just shook up.
The fact Miro was there too. Miro had upwards of 10 eliminations as a trio there. They got third place. We know the significance of getting those placement points. They surely had more elims than Commandment. I don't know who's going to take this all.
Okay, I don't know who's going to take it. Either way, we have to throw it to the desk. That is going to be it from me and Monster D-Face. Aussie Antics, thank you so much. We appreciate us having us. Analysts, break it down because this is going to be so close. I don't know.
Okay, first off, before we say anything, all right, thank you, Monster D-Face. Thank you, Aussie Antics. If you guys are not following those two and these two, please take a second because they poured their heart and soul into today, and we could not have asked for anything else. Okay, I can't believe that it came down to a 4-point difference. But your trio's champions out of NA East, who held on to the title. That's right, it's Slacks, it's Acorn, it's Jock. We are talking 4-point difference, boys. Commandment, Centered, and Edgy. They almost pulled out all the stops and overtook. But Slacks, his trio, they managed to hold on.
Wow. I mean, that last game that we've just watched had absolutely everything you could have completely asked for. The top 4 and 5 teams all alive in the top 6, plus Zay in there as well. And look at the difference. 4-point difference between Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, and Commandment, Sent, and Edgy. We saw Commandment, Sent, and Edgy in that last game struggle with the Storm Surge and eventually be taken down. And if they'd managed to get that little bit earlier, a little bit more surge, keep them going through the movement, keep them going a little bit further in that end game, man, we could have seen a complete changeover. And how can we not talk about Commandment's huge solo clutch that he made there, getting way more placement points after the other two had gone down? Like, every team here in the top, what an incredible performance today.
No doubt that Scented and Edgy were performing so, but I feel like there was just so many moments on the broadcast where we got to see Commandment alone in the end game, clutching up these points and he clutches up the second place for his trio. Like I said, Sentinel and Edgy probably played so well, but we just saw so many highlights from Commandment that I would go ahead and contribute that clutch factor to him edging that second place out for his team. And yes, Aussie's prediction and Reese's prediction, you guys do surpass me by 3. And Mac would secure the third place spot with just 3 points behind. But man, looking at that top 5, Slacks, Commandments trio, Bucky's trio, then Reverse's trio, and then Clix's trio, like that is, I don't think we could have asked for like a better top 5 right there. That is a solid top 5.
I mean, over top 4, there was only 12-point difference from first to fourth.
Yeah.
Incredible. And look, we've not talked about as much about Slacks, Acorn, and Jack yet, right? We've just hyped up Commandment, Sentinel, Edgy, Bucky, Canada, Macwood. These guys have obviously performed, but our first place slot, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, I feel like visually watching them, you may not perceive them to be playing as well as they were, because they weren't popping off with massive elimination games coming into today as much. But listen to the placements: 4th, 10th, 3rd, 4th from their last 6 games today. Like, one absolutely incredible consistent placement. And as we all know, once you hit that top 3, that's when those big placement points kick in. So playing the format incredibly. So despite the fact that they weren't getting as many eliminations as Day's team, for example, we already saw them pick off massive amount of eliminations in day 1. They're just sheer incredible consistency coming out of Slacks, Acorn, and Jack. Blew it away. 4-point lead. Couldn't have been closer, almost.
Listen, we talked about them every single weekend of those qualifiers, every single time in their heat, and we gave them so much respect. And I feel like in the finals, we were almost maybe a little tired about talking to me, like, we keep hyping these guys up and they're not winning. And they flew on their radar. We're talking about all these other trios, and then they came out, they played these 12 games, they got the best average placement out of anybody. They ended with 6.83 average placement. The second best average placement was 9. So they averaged 2 places better. Like, they played out of their minds. Congratulations to them, because I really do think that they deserve it. They played absolutely incredible.
It is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Fortnite fam, so much. Once again, congratulations to our new Trios champions. You want more Fortnite action? We'll make sure to stick around, because don't forget, we got NA West. We got another Trios champions to crown. Fortnite fam, we love you. Follow these incredible humans. We'll see you guys next season. As always, we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Beep, beep.
This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. Oh, really? No time to stabilize reality, but plenty of time to revoke my credentials. This is Agent Jones requesting access to all materials related to the 7. Oh, great! Okay, if you're not going to give me what I need, I'm just going to have to take it.
W's in chat. Cumulative.
balance up and stuck. You can go. Love vibes in this we get out with the love. They surprised I can shake it out with. I balance all the hate out with the love. Vibes in this, they surprised that I live. Try, can't be killed.